My mom used to, when I was growing up, she used to watch a lot of Woody Allen. And I remember when she'd put it on and I was like, oh God, you know, because being younger, it would go over my head most of the time, you know. It's like a lot of talking, not much stuff I'd understood. It's just funny, I guess, looking back at it now, like, he's my favorite. I love Woody Allen. When I was looking at being a DP, I said, oh, you know, this is being a cinematographer means, you know, it's not super stylized and overly lit and doesn't really show the hand of the DP. But for me, what I love about this clip and this film in general is just all the different characters and how he writes women. But it's also the editing and the acting and directing in the scene that make it so great. It has so much energy and it's so fun to watch. And the camera movement and the editing, for me, make this scene so much greater than it just exists on its own with these amazing three women and the dialogue. So effective and so beautiful and perfectly illustrated what it felt like to be at that table with those women, because they're so neurotic and they're all talking and you're behind one of them's head, and then there are a few cuts. He'll cut to close-up of Mia and, you know, she starts off the conversation or she says something very poignant, or like this over to Barbara, and it's just so beautiful. Like it's on her right now, but she's not talking, and you hear all of this chatter back and forth and the camera's just moving slowly. This is beautiful. It always stuck out when I saw it. All of these collaborations from all of these DPs historically, and even these new collaborations with these, you know, my mentors and people that are coming up, it has to do so much about who you work with, you know, and who you find that to execute whatever vision. And I appreciate one's collaborations that work really well, you know, and that's all about timing, you know. Films like this generally don't even get made, you know, like this anywhere. It's a black and white film that is stand the test of time, and I don't remember the historical, like, box office facts on this one, but I'm pretty sure it did well after the fact. There's a ton of dialogue scenes in this film as well that are beautiful. And I love these street scenes where they're just falling in and out of darkness, you know. People, you know, the general stuff with him, you know, where you have characters going in and out of rooms and you're not panning with them, you know, you let them walk in and out of frame. But I love wides and I love oneers, and I just find that so beautiful. I guess it's a taste thing, because some people generally like to cover everything close. I mean, everyone likes a different type of style for a different type of film, but what I love about Woody Allen is I like seeing the space and the context and the world and how lighting really effectively communicates the mood. I can see the space, you know, I know they're in a loft. If we cover this in tights or even mediums, I wouldn't get this feeling where he's coming from, you know, that it makes it feel real to me. Like, I've been in a big loft and I have had these conversations and they feel much like this, where one person's in another room and you're not sitting down talking to someone in this, you know, claustrophobic kind of feeling, because it doesn't give me that sense if I were to cover his tight in this room, medium and, you know, here, and then do two overs here. But I do know this, I know when there's one light on, I know how moody that is and intimate and kind of sexy this is. And, you know, my eye goes here, but I also, it feels open and it feels New York to me. Gordon, he's so amazing, and that was a very interesting collaboration. He brought a lot to the table and obviously developed a unique style for this film and the other films they did together. These New York films, you know, carrying two people walking down the street, not being able to see their face but hearing the dialogue and using the natural street lights, and it's in black and white. I mean, that's a choice, you know, those two filmmakers, and they make a choice to shoot it like that, you know. And I like the kind of play with, like in this one, this two-shot lasts for a long time and carries them, but then he'll do some where they're far away, you know. Annie Hall has one where they're far and then they kind of long dialogue walk into it. And I like those risks. I like working with directors where you come up with fun stuff like that sometimes that, you know, is different and unique, and you're thinking like, oh, is this the best way to kind of communicate this mood and dialogue to the audience? And you're like, let's try it, you know, it could work, this feels right. And then you try it, and while you're shooting it, you're like, I think this could work, this feels good, you know. And then you have an editor on board too that sees the dailies afterward, and he's like, you know, I really liked that choice, you know. And he's editing it, and he's down with the oneer, and he gets it, and he's, you know, thinks that the way that we're kind of piecing everything together is in the right direction. That's happened for us, or for me before, and I really like that.